Hello and welcome to My Guy Reviews. I am My Guy Monkey and I am joined by My Guy Brig.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hello, and My Guy Alfie, who's my cat.
Yes, finally.
Just got off of me because I had to go and grab something, unfortunately, but otherwise he would be a bit closer to the mic. You still wouldn't hear him anyway because his purring's not quite that loud. Okay. So this week we've got a topic. You don't need to guess it this week.
No.
Because you gave me the idea.
Oh, yes.
So now you know what it is already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what is it?
So your idea this week. Your idea.
I'm going to tell you, but just give me a quick brief. What you think it is?
I think it's about your favorite film ever made, Predators.
All right. I hate that film. I can confirm Predators is not in this video at all.
It's one of your favorite films ever made.
Okay, so what actually is you've been playing FIFA non-stop for like weeks.
Yes.
And you are obsessed with tournaments. So you messaged me. You said to me, "Look, I can't think about anything except tournaments."
That's right. Knockout tournaments, World Cup tournaments.
So I want a tournament.
Champions League tournament.
Dude, we can't just make a tournament out of nothing. And then you were like, "Oh, but Halloween is coming up."
That's right.
I think we should have Halloween themes. I was like, "Well, how's that going to work?" So you said, "Yeah, let's have a tournament of who would beat who out of."
I mapped out the whole thing, right? I gave you. I gave you everything. I did.
Obviously, I then took the mantle of took the baton and ran with it.
But I don't know who you picked. I don't know any of these characters.
So you didn't give me any guidance on that.
No.
And I've mixed it up a little bit. There are going to be 14. I don't really know how tournaments work. I don't follow sports, but I assume that's going to work. So we've got 14. We've got 14 horror villains.
1-4 or 4-0?
1-4.
Okay. Well, the format that I gave you is 16 teams would play in a knockout tournament, for example. Once so many knocked out, you're into the last 8.
Yeah.
And then you're into the semi-finals, and then you have the finals.
So
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how yours would work, but sure, let's play.
I don't follow soccer.
I even sent you a template, which is the same as they used in the Karate Kid, the film.
Yeah, I know. I got it. It had all the numbers for the ranking and everything. Like it was coming from the
Danielson.
League, I'm going to make this not work. I'm just going to break it.
Cobra Kai.
What if I just took two teams out and made it not work? So, yeah, we've got 14 teams, expecting 14 matches.
Okay.
And you've got maybe about 3 minutes to convince me of who's the winner out of each team.
And then you override that convince?
What's going to happen is you're going to give also a ranking out of 4 for that match. Just for that match for each competitor. And you're going to try and convince me. If you convince me, they move forward. If they don't, we'll come back to that later. And
so is the ranking for the match itself or the individual person?
So the ranking is how well they do in that individual match.
Okay.
But I might bring it up later in my defense, so you need to be careful.
So whatever I say, you can override.
I could use it against you. Oh yeah, and I can if you put one lower ranking than the other, and you're saying, "Oh, he's going to win," and I'm not convinced, I can up the rank of the person that's behind to make it a bit more fair and see what happens. So you've got to convince me. You've got to get some convincing arguments. So yeah, let's get going because you've got about 3 minutes for each one.
Wow.
And the first one, Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
Versus Leatherface.
Versus who?
Leatherface.
Okay. So I didn't even get that.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. Is there? Are we setting a scene? Are there because like with all horror films, are they set somewhere?
That's right. You actually had the idea of trapped in a house.
Yes.
And this round is Trapped in the House of Hell, which is a game book, fighting fantasy game book.
That doesn't help anyone. Just say a standard house, right? It's
definitely the House of Hell. You've got to read it, book 10. If you haven't read it, then you have to go away and read it and come back.
Okay, so shall I start?
They're trapped in the House of Hell, and who's going to win? Jason Voorhees or Leatherface?
Okay, so watching the old Leatherface films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, especially at the end where the girl gets away and he just waves his chainsaw, he gets run over by a car. So I'm guessing he's going to be waddling as he comes into this battle against Jason. So if he's waddling a little bit, like he's limping a little bit, that's an easy target for Jason, I think. Generally, like Texas Chainsaw, he's got a lot of upper body strength because he can pick up people and he can put them on stuff and he can chop them up and stuff. So obviously he's a strong candidate, is Leatherface. But at the same time, Jason Voorhees has a lot more, he's got a lot more strength, and I think he's got more endurance, because I think he can outdo this guy. So that if they start in the house, one's upstairs, one's downstairs, I don't think Leatherface can climb those stairs quietly enough to try and get that jump on Jason. While Jason's a lot more sneakier, and he also he can hide in cupboard spaces, and he jumps out at people better.
Yeah,
so
Leatherface has got his chainsaw running all the time.
Yeah, so that's going to make a lot. He's given away his location straight away.
Yeah, so unless Jason is a stumbling girl, typical.
The one
film.
He's chasing. If he's the final girl, okay. So but Jason is super quiet. Like even when wherever he is, even when he catches on fire in a various incarnation, like he'll run around, but there's not a lot of noise. He doesn't scream or shout or anything. But Leatherface is a person, so even if he does like finally make it up the stairs, and with all that chainsaw noise and ruckus going on, I don't think he can win this. He's too noisy. I think there's no element of surprise. I think Jason's got this in the bag. I think he's gonna take his little Leatherface off, stab him in his bad leg. He might get a bit of a chainsaw to his shoulder. But that's Jason, right? So Jason will just rub that off, and then he'll just chop his head off. And I think, Jason's won this. And then he'll use the chainsaw and chop his head off, I think.
Excellent finishing move. I love it. So I think I agree with you. I'm more of a fan of Leatherface. I like Chainsaw Massacre. But I think you're right. Jason Voorhees would win this one. What would you rank the two out of them in this match then, out of 4?
As in individually rank them, or as if this was a spectacle on cinema? As a match, grudge match. No,
as their I think as their battle, yeah.
Okay, so if I was to watch this based on our 4-star streaming, this would definitely it would be a 3 because I'd like to see it. Okay. I think it'd be fun, but at the same time, it can end very quickly because as soon as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface turns on his chainsaw. I mean. You'll know where he is.
Yeah. But what I actually need to know is, what I want to know was Jason Voorhees stars versus Leatherface stars. Who would win? Like how badly would Jason win versus Leatherface? A ranking of stars.
I think in this scenario, Leatherface is a 1-star. He's more of a limping final girl, and Jason Voorhees is Jason Voorhees, so he's a 3-star.
He's a 3.
Unstoppable killer. Yeah, because there are things I don't think Leatherface knows of that can, like if he runs the taps, there is a chance that Jason could get freaked out because or if he sits in the bathtub full of water, there's less little things that could throw off Jason's game.
Yeah.
Which Leatherface may not be aware of, like because he drowned as a young kid. Yeah. What if there's a swimming pool in the back of this house? So so I'd give him a 3-star.
Excellent. You've done it. You've convinced me. So Jason Voorhees is through. So yes, 1-0. You're the one deciding these. You're going to trounce me. Okay, so the next lineup is Chucky versus Hannibal Lecter. Who would win?
See, is this the upgraded AI version or the original OG Chucky?
It's up to you, but I think I would go for the old school because he's had more movies.
Yeah, and then Hannibal Lecter, I mean, because we haven't seen him do a lot other than kind of more in... See, Silence of the Lambs, he's in prison, and it's more about conversations and how good he is, and he just escapes at the end. In Hannibal, he does kill... Was it in Red Dragon where he kills one person, but then he gets caught by Ed Norton anyway. So he doesn't seem like he's as smart as you'd think.
He's got a bad record, yeah, but he's supposed to be super smart. So
yeah, so he did get caught quite easily or not. It's kind of did he want to get caught? Maybe.
Yeah.
So they're the things. But he is super smart.
Yeah.
So if he was in a house again with Chucky maybe starting downstairs, Hannibal Lecter upstairs, and they both woke up, and then they realize they have to kill each other. I imagine Hannibal Lecter he's clever enough to understand mechanics of a house, and if anything can help him. Similar with Chucky, because Chucky's a human being in the doll.
Yeah,
so
both
Chucky
of them appears out of nowhere so often though, so he must have pretty good smarts.
So Chucky
and
also
can sneak as well.
Yeah, Chucky can sneak into little like corners of the house. He can go under the floorboards because he's tiny, right? And he's very quiet, and he can do all sorts of stuff. But I think if Hannibal Lecter grabbed hold of him, like even if Chucky used the knife to try and stab him, and Hannibal Lecter grabbed the knife while it's through his hand or something, I think Chucky's gone because Hannibal Lecter might eat him.
Okay.
Because
that's
the
star rating.
I think Hannibal Lecter's a 2.
Yeah.
And so's Chucky a 2 because they're evenly balanced. Their threat level. See, Chucky doesn't die a lot, so it takes a lot to kill him. But then Hannibal Lecter's a bit kind of crazy. Would he just be like, I'm going to turn on the oven and go chuck you in there and I'm going to eat roasted Chucky? We don't know, right? There is that chance that, but then the spirit would go off to somewhere else as well. That's why I think they're both very evenly matched. If Chucky Chucky knows houses well enough, he could hide anywhere, and he can come out at any point, and he could cause some serious damage because Hannibal Lecter is a person. He's a man. He's not. Yeah. He's not immortal or anything.
Yeah. That's the
and
problem.
He did lose his hand in Hannibal. He did saw his hand off at the end.
Handicap. Also, what is Hannibal Lecter's motivation? Because he likes eating people.
Yeah,
Chucky's
so
a dog.
Good point.
He's not going to have that same motivation.
No, he won't be. But he does like stopping other serial killers.
Yeah.
Because he did help.
Yeah, interesting point.
He did help them bring down Red Dragon. He helped them bring down. It puts the lotion on it, so he does help. So he doesn't want. I think because he's so intellectual and he's so full of himself, he wouldn't want Chucky to win, even if you can't eat him. He'd still want to prove. Yeah, I think he's still cunning enough. I think it's quite even now thinking about it. But I think Hannibal Lecter.
Who are you choosing? You're still choosing Hannibal. I'm not completely convinced, so we may come back to this one. So we'll move on to the next one. Michael Myers versus the Blair Witch.
The Blair Witch. So
the Blair Witch Project.
See now, this I think is Michael Myers. He's not fazed by anything. But he takes a lot of beating as well. Like he got shot in the very first one. He got smashed out the window, and he still got up and he ran away. But also when he runs away, he's super quiet. So if the Blair Witch is in the house, he's in the house. It's a quiet house. They both got the advantage of element of surprise. Now there's no reason why Mike Myers would stand in the corner like in the Blair Witch Project because he's not going to do that.
He might turn around and kill you instead.
Yeah, and it's a case of, is Blair Witch real? So could he actually kill Blair Witch with a knife or something? He can't perform any form of exorcism. He doesn't have those skill sets. His base is he's still a man underneath all of that, but he's not going to be manipulated.
Is arguably more real because it was advertised at the time as a real thing, even though it obviously isn't.
Yeah, but is it a supernatural entity, the Blair Witch, or is it a physical form? Because if it's supernatural, there's no way Michael Myers could win this.
That's going to be a problem in this tournament sometimes.
Yeah, because he's going to be stabbing midair. He's not going to be able to stab anything. But there's no way Blair Witch can control him via his mind or make him do anything. Or even if she shifts the house around and makes the house look different, he doesn't really care. He'll just be walking around. He'll just be opening doors. It won't faze him.
Emotionless.
Yeah. So even if she puts in sounds of his past, he'll just walk up the room slowly. He'll have a look around, and then maybe she'll hit him.
Yeah. So you're saying Michael Myers?
No, because he can't. Because she's not a physical form.
Right.
So he can't perform. If it's not like him versus, it's not Blair Witch versus the priest from Exorcist. Where he could perform a exorcism and maybe kill the Blair Witch.
Maybe it's the first to get a knockout in their physical forms.
Okay, then Michael Myers wins that, right? Because he's an unstoppable killing machine in physical form. But if
well,
she's
you can decide how the match plays out, whether it comes to that or not.
Okay, so
and who's the ranking?
In the last Blair Witch film,
yeah,
she does run across the screen, so there is a form that she took
right
in the found footage number 3, or
okay.
whatever you want to call it. So if that's the case, and she runs at Mike's going to be walking around with his knife, obviously, because that's his go-to weapon. She'll come at him at some point, may get a few hits in, he'll get a couple of stabs in, and if he can cut her, then I imagine he can carry on and he could kill her, because he takes a lot of beats and he doesn't go down. So I say he would win this if she's a physical form. Yeah, Michael for the win.
Okay, for Michael, what's the star ratings on this match?
Blair Witch is about in physical form, because she can still psychologically harm you if you have. So if she was up against Hannibal Lecter, I think she might win there, because she would mess with his head. Because he'd be like, "What's going on here?" Yeah. So she's a 2.
Yeah.
Mike Myres is similar to Jason. I think they're both 3s.
3s. Okay, very much. Yeah, I'm convinced of that. Michael Myers can go through. So the theme is, by the way, of these is horror villains.
Yes.
If we didn't mention that already. So the next horror villains, we didn't say movie horror villains, though, did we? So the next ones are Nemesis versus the Necromorphs. So that's Nemesis from Resident Evil. He has been in a film, and he's had his own video game, and the Necromorphs from Dead Space series, which are basically space zombies.
So is the Nemesis one of the zombies from the Resident Evil game, or is it that thing with the big machine gun?
You just have to tell me what you think. But no, Nemesis is basically an unstoppable force that chases you in the video game. Okay. Obviously, they find a way to deal with it eventually. I forget exactly how they deal with it, but he's a huge unstoppable force. Necromorphs are just space zombies in space in a horror game.
I guess if you're a space zombie. Yeah, because you move quite slowly. Regardless, zombies move quite slowly. Unless if you're
game, they seem to jump scare you a lot, so they seem to have a good element of surprise.
Yeah, but they'd have to be hiding in the room in a particular area in a cupboard for so long for this unstoppable force not to kind of come out and just.
A very dark house. The lights could be out. Power could be out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, even if it's nighttime, there's a few candles flickering somewhere. I imagine like a zombie comes into the house, goes, you know what, I'll go into that cabinet and I'll just wait for him. I'll wait for Nemesis to come and find me. And he just sits there, and because zombies don't want anything else, they're just kind of like chilling, right? So he's just sitting there. But then Nemesis comes. Once he's used that element of surprise, that's it. That's all he's got.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's quick enough. I don't think they're quick enough. I think if you look at Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's original classic franchise, right? They're all zombies, but they're really slow and they move around. Shaun of the Dead. But then when Zack Snyder did the remake, he made the zombies quick. So in this scenario, I'm guessing they're slow-moving zombies, OG zombies. Yeah. So they're obviously hungry. So if he's sat in the cabinet for a couple of hours, maybe his stomach's rumbling. So then Nemesis would know where he is. Wouldn't even have to worry about that. I can't see the zombies winning this. In general, zombies are 1 star. That's the lowest. If this unstoppable force, I don't know much about, but I'll put it down as 2.
He's a huge unstoppable force.
Put it down as 3. Put him as the Jason and Michael Myers thing.
Okay. So I'm convinced of that. Nemesis is 3. Next matchup.
Yes.
Oh, no, almost a different one. Right, the next matchup is Freddy Krueger versus Slender Man. Now, Slender Man doesn't have to be the movie; it can also be the general mythos. So he's a modern sort of creation from the internet, sort of creepypasta creature. So Freddy Krueger versus Slender Man.
Well, I guess Slender Man's one of these kind of fictional things that someone just kind of drew up, and then just kind of said, oh yeah, by the way, this thing made me do this thing.
It's got this unlimited powers because it's all made up. So
yeah, it can be as strong or as weak as it needs to be, right? There's no kind of real origins, and
he's always like a tall, thin sort of businessman, though. It's kind of strange. So you're right though. I think there was that in the news about people being convinced by Slender Man to murder people in their town or something.
Yeah, because there was a terrible film about this as well, but so someone did actually commit a murder, and they blamed it on Slender Man, and then they made this film as well about it, but because it would still be a supernatural entity, let's say, that comes in. Freddy Krueger, he's got two forms. He's got his human self, and he's got the dream self. Now, if Slender Man was asleep, this is straight game over. Freddy's won this. But does Slender
maybe Slender Man is always asleep? We don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
That would be a problem.
If his name was Sleepy Man, then I'm like, there's no contest, right? It's just dream world. Anyway, but if it's in the real world and they're physical forms, Freddy does have knives in his fingers. So he does have the ability to get hits in, even if he was taking a hit. So somebody punched Freddy, and then Freddy just grabbed his hand or just kind of pushed his hand out of the way, because he's got the claws in his hands. He will get hits in anyway. So if it's a straight up brawl between these two, I think Freddy wins.
Yeah.
But if he's more supernatural and he can go through walls and stuff, then I think Freddy's lost this. And I don't think he dreams. I don't think he falls asleep based on the mythos.
So I'm willing to believe that he's always dreaming, and therefore they're more on an even plane in the supernatural. But you reckon Freddy would win in the physical though? So
I think so, because
that would give it to Freddy.
Because I've never seen Slender Man hold weapons. So
yeah.
If Slender Man walked up towards Freddy, say Slender Man could float, levitate around the house.
Yeah.
So he doesn't make any noise. Freddy's wherever, and then they finally fight.
Slender Man ends up with control over children by giving them instructions. So he could summon children, and they're the ones that beat Freddy in the movies.
I mean, if you've
seen
the
Slender Man's got his weakness covered.
Well, maybe
get the kids around.
Well, then Freddy could sing them a nursery rhyme, and they all fall asleep, and he kills them all. I mean, also if you count any of the films as in canon, then the last remake of Freddy, he's known to he's even a terrible person because of what he did to kids. So he's not going to be fazed by that. Okay. And also, like, if you get like loads of kids coming into the house, Freddy's still got knives in his hands, right? So
yeah. So what's the ranking? I think you've convinced me, by the way. But
I think Freddy's a 3.
Yeah.
Slender Man, I don't fully understand all of his powers, but I'll put him down as a 2.
Okay. Excellent. So I've put Freddy through. I'm convinced. Next one up is a video game one again. It's Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah. I remember from the film.
This might be an easy one still, though. Versus the vampires from Night Trap. Do you remember the Night Trap vampires?
No.
You have no idea who they are. Well, good luck with this battle.
Well, vampires, right? So all he has to do, Conehead, is just pierce a little hole in the room, open the curtains, and wait till morning.
True.
And literally just wait them out. I mean, as soon as it's morning, he takes his big hammer out and starts smashing this house down. Because wherever they are, they're dead. Right? Because sunlight's going to kill them. They're vampires, regardless of what genre of vampires they are. Unless you said Blade, they would literally just die because of sunlight. But also, I guess I don't know about these vampires, right? So if they're typical vampires, they could be quick. Then he won't stand a chance because he's quite. Because remember watching the films, I mean, he's quite slow moving, but relentless.
They're not that fast moving in Night Trap.
Okay,
they're kind of pathetic. So I would give them a rank 0 in this case. So
okay, so if they're rank 0, they don't stand a chance. Also, every time he hits the floor with his big hammer and breaks something, he's going to be creating enough if it's a wooden house. That's what I imagine this horror film house to be.
Yes, it is,
so he's smashing stuff. So there's lots of stakes.
It's
so all
a
they have to
demonic
do is
house. It's a place of demonic rituals.
As they run around, there's a chance that they could trip and fall and kill themselves. Stake through the heart.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Hammerhead. Yeah. I remember the films. I thought he was quite a formidable person in the films as well.
Yeah.
But he was a little bit slow.
That's very true.
He did roam around a little bit slowly. But
he's not my favourite villain from Silent Hill. I love the series, but he gets bigged up as the central character now because he was so memorable. But I think there's other good creatures. But I would definitely give it to Pyramid Head. What ranking would you give him? I've already given the vampires a 0 because I know what they're like.
I guess because of his brute force and his relentlessness, I'd give him a 2.
Okay.
But I don't know what his weakness is, though, because I don't remember them stopping him. Or maybe they did. Maybe they prayed the alarm or bell.
Over his head or something? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, so we're on to the last match of the first round. The last matchup is It versus the twins.
From The Shining.
The twins from The Shining, but not It from the movies. It from It Follows.
Okay, so
you've got It from It Follows versus the twins from The Shining.
I mean, the Shining girls, even if they kill it then goes back and becomes the previous person.
Yeah, so that's true.
So there is a never-ending kind of circle up until you get to patient 0.
Yeah, and they're probably
and we don't know what.
How long ago did it start?
Well, we don't know what it ever was. So could it be patient 0 is actually the demonic entity that regardless of you killing its vessel, it's still gonna, because it just literally jumps from body to body, and also it knows. So there must be some sort of connection between the current person and the previous person, because it can always manifest as the previous person. So it doesn't matter who you kill or who you pass it on to, it's gonna get you, right? There's no way around it.
Doesn't stop following. It's what it does.
As for the girls, they were ghostly, weren't they, in The Shining? They I don't remember them doing anything other than opening the door and shutting the kids in the door.
Yeah, so I kind of put the twins as an embodiment of the whole house. So everything that goes on in The Shining kind of counts.
Yeah, so if they flood the whole house with blood,
and they mess with Thingy's mind and make him put an axe through a door.
Well, because when we watch It Follows, the person doesn't seem to be fazed by things, so you can scream and shout at it. It just keeps slowly walking towards you. So it doesn't matter what you do in the house, it's going to climb those stairs and it's coming for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you.
That house, that's true. Yeah, we're in a house. I forgot.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you run to, it's always going to come. So with the film, it travelled hundreds of miles by foot to go to one location to another location. So in a house, it's just a number of steps. It's like 100 steps, 50 steps. You can't hide from this thing. You can move. You can change the whole house. You can make it so you lock them in a room. You're just slowing it down. And I don't remember the girls actually killing anyone. They just kind of messed around enough with his head that they made him go crazy, and he attacked the family. So I think It Follows is actually going to, I think It Follows wins.
I'm convinced. What's the ranking?
I think It Follows is actually quite a tough kill. That's a 3.
Sounds like a 3, okay.
Yeah.
And the twins? Or the house, The Shining?
See, that if they were up against Hannibal Lecter, they would win, because they're just making go crazy. So they definitely have a lot of powers and that level of manipulation.
You gave Hannibal a 2, so I'm guessing 2 as well. Yeah.
2, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so we have got 7 winners. Wait, that doesn't add up already to 3 matches.
No, that's what I said to you. It doesn't.
I know, it's all ruined. No, I'm joking. So before we move on to the next stage, because it's House of Hell, there is a sacrifice in the book, but and you are going to have to make a devil sacrifice of one of your winners.
Okay.
So you have got It from It Follows, going backwards, Pyramid Head, Freddy Krueger, Nemesis, Michael Myers. Oh, we didn't decide that one. Jason Voorhees or Chucky and Hannibal Lecter. So you're going to have to decide one of them to sacrifice. But first, we've got to figure out who goes through Chucky or Hannibal Lecter. So what the plan was to roll a number of dice for the for the ranking that you've given it.
Yeah.
The highest number wins. So you've got a rank 2 versus a rank 2. So it could be either Chucky or Hannibal here. It's even.
It's even Stevens, yeah.
So let me just get 2 dice. I've got 4 here for the total we might need. So you thought Hannibal would go through, so I'll do Chucky first. Chucky gets 8.
That's a good roll.
Oh, that is a good roll. Hannibal gets 11. You got him through.
Hannibal's through.
Hannibal is through. Well done. So now you have to decide who are you going to sacrifice to the demons in the house of hell.
Yeah, I think there's some of these people they would just win. So to make things interesting, let's get rid of Nemesis, because that seems like
I had a feeling that was the one that was going, actually. Yeah. Okay, so in the lineup, It Follows is now going to take the place of Nemesis.
Yeah.
It in the matchup. So now we've got 6 through 3 matches, and I'm sure that adds up to a final, right? I don't know.
No.
So let's go. We have got. Do you mean
the semi-finals?
I don't do sports. I don't understand.
But you've watched Karate Kid, and that's a sports film.
Yeah,
and it has the same template as I gave you. I gave the Karate Kid.
That's true, but they kind of overlook it a lot. Like, it's all about the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so match 1 of round 2.
Yeah.
Got a new setting now. Oh. We are now in the graveyard in the Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, so but they're still confined to the graveyard?
They're still confined to the graveyard. Maybe they're spiritually confined. I don't know why. Ask someone else. I don't know. So they are confined to the graveyard.
Oh, nice.
It just makes it a bit more spooky, a bit more interesting. We've got out the house now, and we have got Jason Voorhees versus Hannibal Lecter.
So see, this one's straight up Voorhees, I think, because Hannibal Lecter's still a man, right? So if now they're in a graveyard, at the most, Hannibal Lecter doesn't have the strength to pick up a tombstone and hit him over the head with, while Jason Voorhees does have that upper body and full body strength to pick up something and smash it over. Now we're no longer in a house where Hannibal Lecter would have had the upper hand. In a graveyard, he'll know the graveyard really well. He's clever enough, but he can't. Without a weapon, because let's just say they started with no weapons. Jason will make anything into a weapon, and he could just kill.
He's just mortal. He's not.
Yeah, and also so with Hannibal Lecter, if you even pierce his leg, obviously that's going to slow him down a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's very mortal. While with Jason, if you kind of start hitting him with anything, it's going to bounce off him. The only way Hannibal Lecter could win is if he puts out a fire, creates a fire. So he needs those things that he used for Ray Liotta. So he needs that the thing that he gave to him, so it dazes him out. But as we know from watching Freddy vs. Jason, he took a lot of the sleeping medicine to try and put Jason down so they can try and get him to go to sleep. So that's not going to work. He's not going to have that level of dosage to try and put him to sleep or to try and stop him.
Maybe he does, because he likes eating people in interesting ways. So maybe he's got a big stack of that stuff. I mean,
it would have to be above and beyond his normal pack. So say he carries enough to put down 2 people at a time, for lunch and dinner. He's not going to have enough to put down Jason in his little backpack. I think Jason he's slow, he'll walk around, but he'll make anything into a weapon. Yeah. I think Jason's got this, because I don't think...
Yeah. I mean, he's in a graveyard. I think Supernatural's winning out easily. I think you've convinced me. What ranking would you give?
And now we're even further away from, like, water. So there's no chance of creating a pool of any... Unless if it starts raining, and I guess Hannibal Lecter has a 3 or 4 hour head start and creates a tombstone, digs a massive grave, fills up with water, and then pushes Jason in there. That takes too much prep. So no, Jason's won this.
Yeah, Jason's through. What ranking did you want to give them? Keep them at their own ranking? 3 and 2?
Keep them at their current ranking. Yeah, no change.
Okay, Jason. Okay, so the next lineup, we've got Michael Myers versus It from It Follows.
I mean, how many times can Michael Myers kill a human being? And then another one just turns up.
Yeah,
and then another one.
And another one.
Unless if one of them that turns up looks like his sister or his mum, someone who looks familiar to him, that's the only thing that would make him stop for a second. But when It Follows attacked the people or killed the people in the film, it was really brutal in the way it killed people. So I don't know if it's because of the spirit entity gives them superhuman strength, or because it must be above and beyond what that person can do themselves to be able to kill another person. So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
But Michael
it must
doesn't.
Be a supernatural strength.
But at the same time, Michael doesn't tire, so he can kill as many as he wants. But I think at some point, It Follows will win, because if they're all,
they just come out of the graves, because
that's what I was thinking. At some point, it'll just be someone from there, because it's literally just jumping from entity to entity. Even though we're in the graveyard and Michael can get anything but then at the same time, It Follows could have huge strength as well, and it could beat Michael in whatever way. It might even look like someone Michael knows, because it's quite clever.
Yeah. Okay. So you're giving it to It Follows, sounds of it.
I'm giving it to It Follows. Yeah.
It Follows, not It from the thingy.
Not Pennywise.
I'm convinced by that. It Follows is through. They both had rank 3 from the previous round.
Yeah.
So they were close, but It Follows has it on this one. So the next lineup, the third and final lineup in this round is Freddy Krueger versus Pyramid Head in the graveyard.
So Pyramid Head in Silent Hill, the film.
Does he sleep?
Only appeared when, spoiler alert, they were dead. So the whole Silent Hill calling was come to Silent Hill, but then they died at the start of the film, hence why they went to. So is he in a different parallel dimension?
That's a good question, because I'm thinking from the video game. He does turn up a lot earlier in the video games.
And if that's the case, Freddy
but it
also...
is an alternate dimension all the time as well, though.
Yeah, Freddy also appears in a different kind of plane as well. Because he's not necessarily... Yeah, he's not necessarily from our own kind of dimension. His other astral form could also appear in that. So if they're now both in that same astral form, but walking around this graveyard,
so presumably they can make use of that astral plane because of the atmosphere of the graveyard, maybe.
Freddy's quite nimble, even for an old chap. Okay. He's quite quick. He's not slow. He is still he's a spiritual villain as well. Like he's not alive because they did burn him, so he is still he's a spirit of sorts. So they're on the same level playing field. They're both in this graveyard.
They're surprisingly similar in some ways.
But
the dream and the sort of alternate world of Silent Hill is kind of like a dream world. So it changes when Pinhead appears, right? So the world changes, everything looks different. So he's got powers as well. But in Freddy's defense, like he's got powers where he can manipulate anything to be and look a certain way. So as soon as whoever changes the graveyard to look like something else first can easily trick the other person into thinking something else. Yeah. I mean, presumably Pyramid Head has, and the general ethos of Silent Hill has that effect as well, but it always turns to rust. It's always the same sort of.
But it's still Silent Hill, but in rust.
Yeah.
But Freddy could change the graveyard to look like anything. So he could easily change the graveyard, make it look like something else, and manifest the girl from Silent Hill, and then he would chase the girl, and then Freddy would just kill him from behind or anyhow. I think Freddy's, because he's really smart. I think Freddy's got this in the bag.
Okay, so
it'll take some work, but Freddy, definitely Freddy.
I will put Freddy through. I'm not entirely convinced in terms of their worlds, because they do seem to have quite similar effects and how they would work. But I think you're right. I think Freddy would work quicker because Pyramid Head works on the psychology of the person, so that takes a lot of time. Whereas Freddy can kind of change things in a snap of a fingers, and you're running around a completely different place suddenly and you're trapped. So yeah, I'm going to give you that. Freddy gets through, and that's the end of round 2. And we have Jason, It Follows, and we have Freddy, and we've got a gap. We need another person to even it up, don't we? Unless we have a battle royale. But
this is why you would have just stuck to the 16 format that I've given you.
I'm joking, of course. I'm prepared for this.
Okay.
This is the stage. This is Return of the Living Dead, which was the spin-off by someone else, where you get to pick one of the people that have gone from the competition. You can bring them back. Any villain, you can bring them back now from before. So from the first season, do you need a reminder of any of them, or is there one you want to bring back? So far, you've got Jason versus It Follows, and you're going to have Freddy versus someone else. So, and then they're going to go into a final. So, So
you want to bring anyone back? Anyone back to play against Freddy.
You can bring someone back that you want to,
Freddy,
or you could bring someone back that you think has a good chance of winning.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he needs to come up against someone that could actually be a formidable opponent. And I'm going to say he should come up against Pennywise.
Oh, you want to bring Pennywise?
Yeah.
The actual It.
Pennywise It, yeah.
That wasn't an option, but you know what? Let's bring him in. It from Pennywise. It is in the next round. Okay, so we have got Jason versus It Follows, and this time we're in a prison. In honor of Prison of the Dead, which was a terrible movie, basically, that cheaply made on the whole of the Dead sort of idea. So they're trapped in a prison.
With Mike Myers, because he's a human being, I think that's why
Michael Myers is gone. We've got Jason.
I know,
Voorhees,
but the difference between him and Jason is Jason died as a child in the end of before the start of the first film, right? So while his physical form is there, he's also like a similar entity as It Follows.
Yeah.
So they're kind of on a level playing field in a way.
Okay.
In that, they're both unstoppable killing machines. They
both got scores of 3 as well.
Yeah. So I imagine even if you hurt Jason's body, because he's already dead and he drowned as a little kid, there is a way of him always coming back. So I think this one is almost like Jason will run through X amount of It Follows. It Follows will kill Jason. Jason will come back and he will kill through X amount of It Follows until the two entities, the spiritual entities, actually fight. Now, this is where it's a case of which one do I think is stronger, which one has more menace, and which could kill the other. Now, Jason's killed hundreds of thousands of people. It Follows is a very slow moving, because it doesn't even pretend to run, even if it's an able body. Doesn't even get into a car drive.
Yeah, that's true.
So how primitive is that evil spirit to start off with? Well, I don't know if Jason's driven a car or has ever. He has gone to Manhattan. He's gone to other places.
Must have got there somehow.
So I think he can move around quicker, and so as the two evil entities were fighting against it, I think Jason's more aware of things than It Follows. And also It Follows, if you shoot it, it does seem to bring the next one in, and so you can slow it down, because they even try to chuck it in water.
True, change his form and all that stuff.
So now
it's a secure facility, this prison, so I don't think you could guarantee that It Follows could even get in.
How'd another one come in?
Like, maybe you'd have a couple of inmates that happen to be It Follows, but after that you're going to be stuck with people stuck out.
So I guess once they're in, he's killed a couple of them. Then the evil entity appears, kills Jason. Then Jason's entity, the spirit, and the other spirit fight. And I think because the It Follows entity isn't kind of like as quick, nimble, and as menacing as Jason, I think Jason's would win. because It Follows is very slow. It moves around the country extremely slowly, large pieces of for some reason. You're an able body. Why don't you just run? Why don't you get a car or something? So it doesn't seem to have any other concept other than just killing one person, the next person. Yeah, I think Jason's won this.
Convinced. I'm convinced. I'm not convinced on the mythos and how it'll work out, but I am convinced of your arguments. So Jason goes through. Next up we have Freddy versus your choice, Pennywise.
I see this one's good because Pennywise can just literally turn into anything he wants to.
Yeah. Okay. So this is your wild card, and you're killing the competition with it.
This is an alien creature from another planet that came onto Earth, and it can do whatever. Now, the thing that Pennywise feeds off is fear. So can Pennywise generate enough fear out of Freddy Krueger? And Freddy Krueger also feeds off children's fear. That makes him stronger. So they're up against each other and trying to do the same thing, and neither is scared of the other one.
But Freddy just has to make him small. He just says, "Oh, you're weak and useless."
That's where the game changes, right?
Pennywise is weak then.
All he needs, because Freddy's not afraid of Pennywise, because he's not.
Because if you smaller necessarily.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't get afraid of kids calling him names or bullying him back. So I imagine. So initially they start off, and they're trying to, scare each other to try and generate the extra kind of thing that they need. But Pennywise can't get that out of Freddy. Freddy can't get that out of Pennywise. But then somehow he'll just clock. I think Freddy's a little bit smarter, and he'll just know that Pennywise fear isn't just kind of random fear. It's like just standing up to a bully, and I think he'll make him small, and before you know it, because Pennywise doesn't kill enough people. I think he's a bit slow, and he toys with them too much. It's
almost like a battle between whether you could deal with your own demons, dealing with your own thinking in your brain versus dealing with your dreams. You can deal with your living, like, day-to-day brain, but you can't deal with the dreams can still be pretty random. You could be living with that forever. So it's like Freddy has it in the bag as well.
So I think overall, Freddy's won this. I think.
What would your rank be anyway?
With Pennywise, because Pennywise is a shapeshifter, and it depends who you come up against. Pennywise could put fear into you. It could turn into anything. Like if it was fighting. If he's fighting against Jason, he could give him flashbacks of his time at that lake, and then put that back in his head, and he could win because he would put the fear into him. Similar with Michael, maybe he could put like memories of his mom and his other things in there, so he could win. He could beat a lot of people because of that skill set that he has. Maybe not It Follows, but after a while. I think he's a 3. I think he's up there.
Okay, 3. I would maybe put him at 2 because of his weakness. But anyway, that means we're into the final.
Just so happens it's like a film.
Mm-hmm.
It's the film.
It's the film. Freddy's versus Jason. But shall we? Do you want to do the podium battle first as well, or do that after? I think we need a podium battle.
Okay.
It's got it versus Pennywise to see who gets silver.
Okay, so who's this is just like Football World Cup. What's the location? They're in a lift.
They're in a Silent Hill lift. The last theme is Silent Hill, so they're in a lift.
So if they're going up 20 floors,
it's going down.
If they're going down 20 floors, each time they stop, another It Follows comes in.
How can it even get in there? I don't know.
I think Pennywise has won this. If you can't get another It Follows in,
found It Follows big weakness here.
Yeah, it's because it needs to jump into the next body, doesn't it? So I think
which are the better movies? Say It Follows.
I think Pennywise has won this one.
Yeah,
because Pennywise can turn into anything and just kill it, and then it would jump into the previous entity, and it would never get back on this lift.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's it. It Follows gets the 4th place. It is in silver, so now we've got the final at last.
It's bronze.
We're in the base. Yeah, bronze, silver.
It's gold and silver.
You're right. I told you I don't do football.
It's Olympics as well.
I don't do these tournament stuff. Sports.
It's Olympics, gold medal. It's any sporting event.
Okay, so we're down in the lift, so we're now in the basement. We're in the Silent Hill basement, which is, the epitome of where weird shit has gone on. And it's Jason versus Freddy, just like the movie. Wow. But they're trapped in a basement. Who would win?
So, if Freddy can't put him to sleep, Jason's won. Because in the movie, exactly the same thing happens. So Freddy only can win is if Jason's asleep. So if Jason's asleep, Freddy can create any kind of any scenario, anything, and he could kill him. That's just simple because he's then just he's killed the evil spirit. But as a walking, living, breathing thing, Jason's just an unstoppable killing machine, and Freddy would lose that then. So it'd have to be, how can Freddy knock him out to the point where he knocks him out unconscious?
Yeah. Bearing in mind, this is a Silent Hill basement, so you could argue that they're already asleep practically, because it's kind of like a alternate dream world of the psychic world.
Yeah, so like in Silent Hill, every so often the dong would go, wouldn't it? So the whole world would change.
The sirens and everything.
So it could go. It could be like.
Yeah.
They start off awake.
Yeah.
And then the dong happens, and they both have to fall asleep.
And
then the dong.
Before.
Yeah. So it's how quick. Now the only thing is Jason's slow.
That's a problem.
He's not quick. So it depends how big this basement is. Freddy just has to wait him out. And as soon as Freddy waits.
I'd say it's pretty natural basement.
I guess like if whenever he chases a final girl, he's chasing her slowly.
Yeah.
So it depends. Like if it's like a round circle,
laughing,
Freddy could just walk slowly, and just giggle.
Backflips.
If there's are there any pipes full of water? Because that could cause a problem to Jason. Because all he needs to do is
there's bound to be pipes of water, isn't there?
So if there's a pipe of water, you just open that up with his knife hands. Slowly floods just a little bit. That'd freak him out. You could almost kill him in the real world.
Stand up on tables trying to avoid everything.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as because he can't swim as well, so he would drown. I think because home advantage plays a big thing in this. So if they did that for about 10 minutes and Jason is still walking around, plodding along. And then the dong happens,
avoiding the water,
and they both fall asleep.
The siren happens, the air raid sirens.
That's it. And normally Freddy toys with his people when they fall asleep, but in this scenario, he knows just coming from the wake world into the sleep world, he needs to kill this guy quickly, so he'll get straight on it. I think Freddy's won this.
Freddy would get Silent Hill powers as well. He's taken over everything.
Well, he doesn't need any more powers than he has, because once he's in sleep world,
he's got entire power of everything. So.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. I think I think Freddy versus Jason 2, which is what we just described here. Freddy wins this one.
Freddy and Jason in the basement.
In the basement, yeah. This one, Freddy's won this.
After they beat people in the lift or whatever. Yeah, I agree. So we've got Freddy as the winner.
The champion.
Yay, Freddy the champion. Undisputed champion of horror.
For now, yes.
But obviously, I stuck to mostly older ones, so maybe there's some more modern ones that will come up the ranks someday.
Because there's loads of supernatural characters and stuff that could easily beat Freddy.
Yeah, two that I would have had on the list, but then I realised I'd gone up to 16, which I didn't want. Was Poltergeist from Poltergeist and the Amityville Horror. But they're both very much the same.
Yeah, a Poltergeist you can't beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have to go through you don't go. She gets pulled into the TV. They have to go into an astral world to try and get her out, but they never kill the Poltergeist, and then Poltergeist takes the whole house. So there is no way of, or it seemed in the movie, in kind of a way of killing the Poltergeist. Yeah,
unless you get an exorcist involved.
Exactly. So if you
maybe
had
next time we're going to have to include
if you had the Exorcist from the Exorcist film,
yes,
then yeah, he would.
He's
he
not
would
a villain,
beat.
so it doesn't count. We need to find an Exorcist that's also a villain, so he can enter the competition next year.
And then he could perform exorcisms on Jason, on
Yeah,
Freddy,
on
It Follows, on Blair Witch.
At last, we have our 15th player in the match. He just comes through and kills them all.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't pick Pinhead.
Pinhead, yeah, that one came up, but it's not a big deal for me. I mean, even Jason Voorhees isn't someone that is a big deal for me, but I'm aware that he's big enough that he needs to be in the competition. So yeah, there's plenty missed out really, but I did have to keep it short enough to fit into the match, and also I wanted to give certain ones a bit of a spin that you wouldn't usually get to see in them. So we got to see Nemesis and the vampires, which from Night Trap, which was kind of a joke one, but you don't know the game, but the vampires in that game are basically guys walking around in weird black suits, and they go down trapdoors that you pull levers for. So they're kind of pathetic. But yeah, it was interesting how it turned out. Though, which one would you say is the scariest out of all these characters? Like, and the movie's the scariest of them.
Because Jason, Mike, Myers, they didn't scare me. Chucky didn't scare me.
No.
Hannibal, Lecter, none of them. I think for me it's more the supernatural kind of things that you don't see. And I think that's where kind of Freddy was good in the first movie, where it's like, you fell asleep and he could manifest anything. So he kind of took away that one element that you used to have, was you can go to sleep and you'd be fine. And in this scenario, it was like, if you fall asleep, he's going to get you.
Yeah.
And he can turn into anything in your dream world. So that to me was scary. I think Pennywise would be scary if they rewrote the book and rewrote the film.
They made it different.
Clive Barker's original Hellraiser as well. I did like the film, but I didn't think they were that scary, because they spent a lot of time on the blood oath and trying to, the little puzzle, and then they finally appeared, and they didn't seem to do a lot. They just kind of tortured the guy and just took his soul.
I think for me, It Follows always scared me a little bit. There were a couple of moments with there was the moment where he turns into that really tall guy, kind of freaked me out a little bit, like only the tiniest bit in a certain way. And also, I'd say Silent Hill always has some eerie stuff going on. Yeah,
I mean, with It Follows, I like the concept and I like the film. I think there's some good jump scares, but I don't think It Follows is that scary when you realize it's just a person walking very slow. Because if you think about it,
was just that moment though, when the person was sort of trapped in a small confined space, and It Follows had turned into a huge person that was so huge they had to stoop through the doorway. Like that's a moment they really should have lost the game there. They should have died there.
I think with It Follows, if you really think about it, all you have to do is just stay away from it. So what you could do is just get a plane ticket.
Maybe
you never fly.
Maybe he never got round to sleeping with an athlete either. So then he could have actually done some running and chased you down.
But no, because they were still all able-bodied people. None of them were old people that looked like they were struggling with. Yeah, they were really slowly walking. And even at the very end, when the girl is walking behind the two of them, it's just so slowly walking behind them that they could just easily just get in a taxi and go a few miles away, and they'll be good for, I don't know, a couple of days. It just seems like it's a very slow thing that is coming towards you. And I'm sure there's ways of just kind of literally going from one part of the country to another part. Like, we're in an island, right?
Yeah.
So if we're in an island, all we have to do is go Channel 10 or get onto a train and go to Amsterdam, and you could be there for maybe a month, 6 months, because It Follows has to walk through the channel.
Exactly.
Has to walk through the water. So it's not gonna catch you that easy. And then you could be on the train back, and you would have just got there.
Yeah, but the scary thing is that it does always follow eventually, and it kind of think people that have ever experienced stalkers and things like that, they're not pleasant, and they really do affect your mind and stuff like that. And that kind of reminds me of that. Like, no matter where you're moving away from, you still got this stalker that always turns up and sort of haunts your whole life, and that's kind of a real thing as well. So I find that's quite scary. But anyway, happy Halloween for this month. And
trick or treat.
Hi guys, welcome to the end of the podcast. Sorry, and got cut off again, so recorded it multiple times, but just couldn't get it right and save at the same time. So just wrapping up the podcast here. As always, contact us on myguyreviews Gmail. Hit us up on Twitter, myguyreviews, Mike_. Instagram, myguyreviews. Check, we've got YouTube videos as well, and all the contact details are below. Hopefully by next week's episode it'll be all fixed and we won't have to do a abrupt ending. Thanks for listening. Bye. Oh yes, subscribe and like as well. Thank you. Bye.